right, everybody. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. We are back. We are back on another edition of the Wisdom Walk with Dr. Annette show live on Real Talk 100 Radio. We thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us again. We've had a hell of a day, haven't we, Doctor?
We have.
We've had a hell
I
of a
would really like to say a heaven of a day, though.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, who do I think I'm talking to, right?
That's all right. That's all right. I love it.
We had a heaven of a day.
Uh-huh.
I've never used that term before. I'm gonna start using it. I'm gonna start using it, especially more when I'm around here, y'all. We've had a heaven of a day, y'all, but we're going to make good of it.
Oh, yeah.
In just a few minutes. But we're gonna go ahead and kick the show off.
Mhm.
We're gonna take a quick intermission. As soon as our guests get here, we want y'all to go ahead and start sharing.
Mhm.
Before we kick this thing off, I want the good doctor to tell us what this show is going to be about tonight.
Okay, all right. Well, unfortunately, guys, Dun Beasy won't be here with us tonight. I hope that everything is well with her. And so I had to just kind of reach into a show that was planned 2 weeks from now, which is African American men and mental health systems of injustice. And so God is so good. We had that ram in the bush. And when I say last minute, I mean last minute. So my hat's off to Rashawn Evans, who is the founder, he and his wife, the founder of Pure Justice, which is an organization dedicated to helping individuals who are involved with the criminal justice system. So when Mr. Evans arrives, he's going to talk about how he was accused of rape, how he himself was raped. He's going to talk about his incarceration. And he's going to talk about stigmas associated with a man being raped. We don't hear about that, Malcolm, and really if a man is raped, he's not going to talk about it because of what society would say to him, hey, you're this, you're that. And so it really goes either unreported or underreported.
Mm-hmm.
So it does happen.
Yes, ma'am.
So he's going to talk about it and talk about his mental health journey dealing with this false accusation of rape, serving a prison sentence, and then having his own experience of rape, and then talk about why more African-American men don't seek mental health services. I can say to you, though, as a clinician, it is, I guess for me, it's a little different for me having a mental health conversation with a man. And that goes back to the stereotypes and everything associated with that. But I have to, again, put that clinical hat on and take Annette out of it and recognize that this man is still just a person.
Just a person.
And he has the same needs as a woman would have who's experienced some type of trauma.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm really excited about that. Again, he showed up and I'm thankful. He'll be here shortly. And so we'll take a break so that I can let him in. But we also have someone else who's going to join us tonight. And his name is Cameron Shepard. And Cameron is a college student. He is interested in radio broadcast. So he's going to come here to learn from the best, learn from Mr. Malcolm tonight and see how he can help us. So again, we want you to stick around. Our guest is en route. And I want to throw this out here. We want to get people hyped up just to hear their thoughts about this. And maybe this is something that you're still working on. But Malcolm is talking about the station going FM, guys. And we're all excited about that. So Malcolm, do you want to talk a little bit about this FM radio station journey?
I really didn't want to let the cat out the bag, but you know what? Since I'm called out, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. The only reason I don't want to let the cat out of the bag is because I'm listening to people that are advising me, and they're saying, we know you're confident, we know you're cocky, but you're letting the wrong spirit in when you let things out of the bag too early, prematurely.
I'll take it back then.
No. I'm still. borderline cocky, so I don't mind
Uh-huh.
because I'm the kind of guy naturally that I like to say something
Mm-hmm.
and I like to do it to prove that I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That I'm confident enough to say this because I'm confident enough to carry the task out
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
fruition.
Mm-hmm.
So you're good.
Okay.
Let us talk about it.
Okay. Let's talk
Um,
about it.
we're an online radio station. We are Real Talk 100 Radio. We are advocates. We're champions for small business owners. We're champions for the underground music industry. Um, what is the underground music industry? The underground music industry are the music artists who have not yet made it to mainstream radio yet. So we're looking for the next Beyonce's, the next King of Country George Straits, the next Jay-Z's, the next Ushers. That's who we're looking for. So yes, when you tune into our radio station, you might hear some mainstream artists, but for the most part, you're going to hear underground music artists because that's who we're fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
We're also fighting for small businesses because our why into becoming small business owners ourselves was because, well, excuse me, our why for starting this radio station was because small business owners and music artists aren't represented well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody supports them. Small, you know as well as
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
do, it's hard to get
Mm-hmm.
support from the community. It's hard to get support from music artists as well. So we decided we would be their support.
Mm-hmm.
That's our why for building what you see here.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, every career path is has stages to it,
Mm-hmm.
and the next stage for us, I don't know about all, but for us is to make this bigger
Mm-hmm.
for small businesses, make it bigger for underground music artists. And what does that mean? That means giving them more opportunities.
Right, 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 right,
Um,
right.
we're as an online radio station, as much as I hate to say it, we're limited in what we can do for small businesses,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
music artists. Yes, we can do a lot. Right now, we're in the process of bonding together and putting resources together, pooling resources together with other online radio stations and promoters, music promoters, and trying to make things bigger from within.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But at some point, someone has to grab that bull by the horns
Right,
and
right.
and take us to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we want to do that here.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, yeah,
We want to do
excellent.
that here, and we
Mm-hmm.
want to bring our team with us.
Mm-hmm.
So the conversation will be had hopefully before December 24th.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be having this conversation, and so I'm reaching out into the community as well. If you want to join forces, you want to collaborate with us, you want to be a part of this movement. I mean, like Dr. Annette said, I don't know if y'all have listened to the previous shows, but she says she wants to be on stage one day holding up a trophy, going, "We did it."
Mm-hmm.
And I want my community with me. I want our team with us. Dr. Annette is one of them. I call her the good doctor. We have a team of one, two, three, four, five, about seven, eight, nine, about 10 people total on our team, and we want that team to be 100 because we want to uplift everybody.
Right, right, right.
So, any questions? Any questions from the audience?
Oh, well, as I said, guys, if you're just tuning in, we're waiting for our guests. We were supposed to have done Beezy tonight, and I'm not sure what happened with that, but we have to keep right on moving. And so I called Mr. Rashawn Evans, who was scheduled to be on a show 2 weeks from tonight, to see if he could join us tonight. And he said yes. He had just walked in from work, and I said, "Look, whatever time you get there, just come, and we'll make it happen." So if you're just tuning in, tonight's show is African American Men and Mental Health Systems of Injustice. And Mr. Rashawn is going to talk about how he was accused of rape, how he served a prison sentence for that. And then he himself was raped, something that we don't hear about. And if we know about it, we don't talk about it. And so it's a really interesting show. So I just want you to stick and stay. And we also have Mr. Cameron Shepard, who's joining us tonight, and he is our intern. As we are trying and striving to do great things, Malcolm needs the help. And so Mr. Cameron is going to join us. So, but I do have a couple of questions because you have shared this. Well, first of all, did you receive your DNA kit? Have you received it yet?
Yes, half of it is
wow.
right here. Half of it is right here.
Okay.
I haven't taken it home yet.
Okay.
The paperwork is one page away from being completed.
Oh, perfect. So Malcolm's on a birth family search, and he has just about completed all of the paperwork so that he can secure his birth records from the state of Texas. He has his DNA kit, so we're super excited about that because this has been a long journey for him. Yeah, so I'm excited about that, and I guess you are as well.
And thank you, y'all. Y'all missed a heaven of a show when she presented that with me. She presented it to me on my birthday. It was a birthday gift to me, and she also sang happy birthday to me. So if you want to go back into our catalog of videos on Instagram and Facebook, you'll actually hear her beautiful voice and see her presenting me with the what is it called again?
The DNA test.
No, the company. Ancestry.com DNA test came in the mail. She ordered it. I got the paperwork in the mail saying it's on its way, and sure enough, about a week later, I believe it came in the mail. That's what we're talking about today. I hope my mom or my sister or my family is not listening, getting upset. I love y'all to death, but there's always something missing.
That's right.
Way back here and way in the back of my chest.
Yeah.
So that's what I voiced. One night we were having a show with another lady who, at 14 years of age, gave her child away. And she was on Dr. Annette's show, on the Wisdom Walker Dr. Annette show, speaking about giving her child away at 14 years of age. And I'm sitting over here. I did my best, but I broke down at some point, got it back together. And at the end of the show, everybody's going, well, if you're feeling like this, why haven't you found your own parents? So unbeknownst to me, a week later, she presented, was it a week later? She presented me with the paperwork. So she's been a blessing to me so far, and I hope to continue to bless her. Thank y'all for joining in tonight.
He doesn't know how pushy I am, folks, but hey, striving for greatness, right?
That's right.
All right, and just some shout outs. I see Michelle Jones has joined us tonight. Thank you, Michelle. James Hudson, Dee Rochelle, Pamela Drawson. Special shout out to Victoria Jackson for making this happen for me tonight. I called her. I was just in a panic. Hey, I haven't heard from Dunbeezy. The show still has to go on, and I asked her to give Mr. Rashawn a call, and she did, and here we are. And she's so helpful and just instrumental in so many things. So I just wanted to shout out to her for that. And I also want to send a shout out to her son. So y'all guys, listen, we're giving away a smartwatch tonight. And her son graciously donated the smartwatch that we're giving away. So I told her to text me his name to make sure I didn't screw it up. So let me go and see. And she's at work, Miss Victoria, but she's on with us. Her son's name is, drum roll please, Quintrell Williams. So thank you, Quintrell, for donating the smartwatch tonight. And we also have a spa basket that was donated by Sonia Jones. And she has a business called Christian Comforts. So throughout the night, we will be asking for the first caller. And the first item we will give away is the spa basket. And the second item will be the smartwatch. So again, stick and stay. And I'm still running my 2-for special. You buy one pay for one therapy service, and you get 2 sessions free with Williams counseling and play therapy. So while we're waiting for Mr. Evans to get here or to arrive, I remember you sharing maybe the first or second show, maybe the first time that I was here, that you had spent some time in prison, but you've turned things around.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Drastically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drastically.
Mm-hmm.
I was, I'm not ashamed anymore.
Mm.
I used to be ashamed of the life that I chose because my father. Here's my father, a community leader and a pastor of his own church, and I lived that life. I lived the pastor's kid's life, junior deacon in the choir, but I was living a double life.
Mm.
I was living a double life. I'd leave church and act bad. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong. Uh, Thank God, never killed anybody, taken anybody's life, anything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
anything that had to do with making money, I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my weak link, and ended up getting me in a whole lot of trouble. Long story short, and that was when I was 20 years old, actually 19. Uh, Ended up doing a little 2 years in Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then, excuse me, 18. I ended up doing 2 years in Louisiana, about 15 months
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana, and then got out. Did stay out a year.
Mm-hmm.
Before I was 21, ended up getting a whole lot more trouble, and the
Mm-hmm.
judge was like, "Look, you're getting worse and worse." So I ended up doing 16 flat,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so I spent from 16 to 36, almost 37 years old, incarcerated, and I refuse. I
Mm-hmm.
refuse to go back in time and act the way I did. I'm still ashamed, but
Mm-hmm.
thank God, last year in August, I lived out a 30 years parole. I'm no longer
Mm.
on paper. I no longer have to report to anyone. And when I was behind walls, I never thought I'd make it to
Mm.
see the day that I'd get off, because there's so many guys in there that have been repeat
Mm-hmm.
offenders, repeat
Mm-hmm.
offenders. And every time you violate your parole, they extend your time. So
Mm-hmm.
you could be
Mm-hmm.
on parole for life.
Mm.
Because say Dr. Annette, I know she'll never get in trouble, but say Dr. Annette gets in trouble right now and you get 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2023. You're supposed to get off parole 2043. But between the time they let you out, say in 2008, you get out on
Mm-hmm.
parole.
Mm-hmm.
2028,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get out on parole. In 2028, from 2028 to 2043, you get in trouble
Mm-hmm.
5 times
Mm-hmm.
in, I don't know, 5, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, every time you go back, your time starts over.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your time starts over.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep getting in trouble. By 2043, when you're supposed to get off parole, they could extend that to like
Mm-hmm.
2063,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you never lived out the 20 years that you had.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting in there, and they send you paperwork that has your projected release date.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget, it was like 2000. I was in there from 2000. Excuse me, I was in there from 1992
Mm-hmm.
to 2007. So from 1992 to 1997 ish, I'm listening to all these institutionalized guys saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, youngster, you're not gonna get out, man. You may as well fit in." And so I'm listening to them. We're in there fighting and rioting, and something clicked. 1997.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was like, I got that paper in the mail. Jackson, mail call. I got it, and it said projected release date
Mm.
2022.
Hmm.
It's 1997,
Mm.
and I'm going, no,
Mm.
no, no. So I went to school. I went to college. I went to trade school.
Mhm,
Learned
mhm,
electronics.
mhm.
Learned electronics. They
Mhm,
crammed courses on me. So I did not retain a lot of that information, but I did retain a lot of my psychology classes, my sociology classes. I love those two classes.
Mhm,
Loved them.
mhm.
And from 97 to 2007, I was a changed man,
Mm,
and I have not turned around. When you leave there,
mhm.
they say, "Oh, you'll be back."
Mm.
And a lot of men, a lot of women too say, "No, I
Mhm,
won't."
mhm, mhm,
End up coming right back
mhm,
over and
mhm,
over and over and over again.
mhm.
I refuse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I can work for free in there,
Mm-hmm.
I can start my own business out here
Right, right.
and sacrifice making six figures, seven figures, eight figures until it works out.
Yeah,
If I can work for free,
yeah.
incarcerated,
Mm-hmm.
that's what
Mm-hmm.
keeps me going.
Right.
Uh, I refuse.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's my story, y'all. I used to be ashamed to tell that story because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I was a pastor's child, a preacher's child,
Mm-hmm.
and the first from '07, I got out in '07.
Mm-hmm.
From '07 until about 2019 or 18,
Mm-hmm.
I met you. I would not dare tell you this story because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want you to feel threatened.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
want you to feel threatened or like I'm a threat to you
Mm-hmm.
and you back away. So I would maintain my, I'm a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who knew me were like, "Why are you hiding?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Because I don't want people to cut me off."
But you're speaking some truth.
Hmm.
Guys, and if you're just joining us, we're waiting for our guests to arrive. Dunbeezy won't be with us tonight. We have Rashawn Evans, who graciously at the last minute, he was scheduled 2 shows from now. I asked him, hey, can you come and talk about your mental health journey? And he had just walked in from work when I called him, and he said, yeah, just let me grab something and I'll be on my way. So he should be here shortly. But Malcolm has a similar story to Mr. Evans in terms of Mr. Evans being incarcerated, being accused of rape, being a victim of rape. Malcolm was not a victim of rape, but Mr. Evans was a victim of rape. And so talking about the stigmas associated with African American men seeking mental health services. This is something that's really taboo in our community. And it has just recently become something that women have done, because historically we had Big Mama, we had Auntie so and so, those people that we could go and confide in. But our value systems have changed so much over the years, where you have, and I'm going to tell you the truth about it. You have Big Mama who's not too many years older than the grandchildren, and Mama who may be 12 or 13 years older than her daughters. They all competing for the same men, and I used to hear some of our friends' parents tell them, girl, you better make that money. You better use what God gave you to make that money. Well, you're telling your child to become a prostitute,
Hmm.
and so that has become the mentality of a lot of our girls. I'm gonna make that money. I'm gonna strip. I'm gonna do this, that, and the other. Who's still talking about using your brain power, using your energy, putting in the work to become something better? Nothing in life is easy. You have to study, you have to get on your grind, you got to make mistakes. But everybody wants things quick and easy. I just got a text. Let me see if that's our guest, guys. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, someone else. All right. But anyway, as I was saying, we've changed so much. And, just in talking to young girls, I'm always encouraging them to, to think about tomorrow. Something else that we've done too, and I know I'm a little off subject, I'm going to come back to you, is we teach our young girls that they don't need a man. You don't need this. You don't. There's so many things that we have just destroyed. We've just destroyed the natural order of things, if you will.
Yes, ma'am.
But you said something, Malcolm, and maybe you have the answer to this just based on your experience. What do you see in? Okay, our guest is here, so we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Stay right here. We have Mr. Evans who's going to talk about his life story. We'll be right back.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm going to take over for the good doctor, everybody. Okay, there it is. There it is. I hope y'all can hear me now. Sorry, Deidre Flem, Pamela Drouson, Michelle Jones. Did the volume go off? I'm sorry. When I took the doctor off, I took the sound off. Can y'all hear me now? I'm gonna do like Verizon. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know before I continue. Our guest has arrived. I don't see anyone saying anything else. Has our Yes, sir, Michelle Jones. I'm sorry about that. But when I took the doctor off the screen to let her leave, it turned the volume off. Thank you, Deidre. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Veronica Smith Higgins. Well, let us get back to the show now. But like I said a few minutes ago, thank you, Ginger Ross. Y'all, please share the video all over the world for us because our guest has arrived. We both have something in common. That I word. I don't like to say the whole word anymore, but that incarceration word. I hate hearing it. I hate hearing it, but we do have that in common. He has his logo on his chest. Pure Justice is in the building. And let's get back to the show. This is the Wisdom Walk with Dr. Annette Show, live on Real Talk 100 Radio. Share, share, share. Tag others who've been incarcerated before. Tag others who are interested in mental health and black men going to excuse me, black men seeking counseling and mental health objectives.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to the show.
All right. All right. Welcome back this way, everybody. I'm so honored that you were able to make it last minute. I really appreciate you. We have Mr. Roshan Evans, who is the founder of Pure Justice. So tonight, our topic is African American men and mental health and systems of injustice. We were initially supposed to have done Beezy tonight. I hope all is well with her. That's another story. So we just hope that she's okay. But God always has a ram in the bush, and I'm so grateful. So grateful. All right. So, Mr. Evans, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from?
So, and thank you. And I just want to let everybody know I am not late. I am a week early.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So I was born in Hollywood, California.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised in Flint, Michigan. I never seen Hollywood until I actually got in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
I've been in every state in the United States of America, and now I'm an advocate for criminal justice reform right here in Houston, Harris County. I am the co-founder of Pure Justice. I am the impacted one that co-founded, and the other co-founder is an actual lawyer. And we're working around the city to give back. We work on, it's policy. We want to make sure people have the things that they need in order to survive, which plays a big part on mental health, trying to make sure that the number one mental health facility is not the county jail, and we can actually get you the resources you need so that you can live and thrive and take care of a family and children and do something for them for like Christmas. It's right around the corner.
Okay. And congratulations.
Thank
you
you.
Recently married, 3 weeks ago?
Not even.
Wow.
A little over one. It's we're going on 2 weeks now.
Oh.
Yeah, and thank you.
Longevity has its place. A whole week and a half. I got it.
Yeah, but we've known each other since middle school. And we've been together for like 10 years. When I was talking about mental health, when I was dealing with, some, mental health segment in my life, she was like one of the only people that stood right there with me and helped pull me out of, the problems and the issues that I was mentally having while I was pushing everybody away from me that I actually love, and didn't even realize it.
Oh, Mr. Evans, you know, black men don't have mental health issues. What are you talking about? Right?
Yeah, we deal with so many problems. We don't talk about it because, like, even as a kid, we supposed to be the tough ones, the strong ones, and we the ones who supposed to take care of the family. Make sure everybody else is okay. And when we address our concerns, we're weak. I mean, it's like the things that we wish to talk to people about, when we attempt to talk to people about the problems we have, they look at us like we complaining, you know, like, or we should just suck it up, get over it, find a way out of whatever it is we're dealing with. But as Black men, right here in America, you know, we're put in a position to where it's legally okay to punish us because we come from generational poverty. It's okay to punish us because we're Black men without support. Even other Black men don't support us when we should be banding together. We come from a place where it is okay to punish us because we are the ones that don't stick together. We're not fighting together.
Tell me about it.
Not standing together. And we're put in a position to where everything that you need for survival, like housing, healthcare, education, food, they putting us in a position to where they can legally box us out and keep us away from all of that. And we, as Black men, trying to figure out just how to live. We shacking up with women, you know, just so we can have a place to stay. We sitting up here hustling to scrape up $50 day by day just to have a roof over our head so we can get a motel. And it's like,
man, look.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting you off, but I've been preaching what you saying since 2007 when I got released, and I can't contain myself because not many people talk like you because they don't know the plight. They don't know the struggle. They and so thank you for coming, man. We need to talk.
Of course.
We need to talk.
You talk about mental health and just to be able to take care of yourself. And not to mention if there's any other people in our life, like if we brought in a child, you know, or if we have a woman, you know, a love mate, you know, parents, and we sit up here and everything that we wish we could do for them, at times, depending on where we come from, we have to get creative just to figure out how to survive and provide. And that creativity is so stressful because the creativity comes with doing things that is outside the law that put us further in the hole if caught again.
You just made me think of something because I think it hit me one day when I was thinking about African-American men and mental health. I had my first, I think, African-American male to attend or participate in therapy services in my office earlier this year. That was very uncomfortable for me. And it was uncomfortable because you're right. We see you guys through different lenses. We don't see hurt. We don't see what you're talking about, feeling like failures because we can't provide for our families. And so in my mind, I was like, what is this dude doing here? And I'm just being honest. And I had to remove myself from that stereotypical thinking, right? And recognize that this man is hurting and your job is to help him. And again, I admit when he started crying, I was like, how do I handle this? But it made me think, it made me do some soul searching because we have so many men who are misguided and they want those strong father figures or strong male role models so that they will know how to emulate, how to perform, how to be in a relationship and not what you hear on the streets. So there's a lot of brokenness. But what have we told our men? You don't need that. You weak. You're going to talk to a what? You weak, man.
Yeah. And then you talk about how we need our fathers. But the fathers, a lot of them has been taken from us by the system. And some of the fathers that we seek have been taken from us by women because they couldn't figure out how to co-parent and work together with the male for the child that they had. And then you have fathers that want their children so bad and can't be there for them for all sorts of reasons that I just named. And that play such a crazy mental game on the black men, where the children is taken from them, and the young boys.
Yeah.
Not to mention the young girls.
Yeah. This whole thing. Let me just throw this in. I hate paternity court. Every now and then I'll see the reels pop up, and you are the father, or you are not the father. So now you're going to have this 3-year-old child still in limbo about who his or her father is. And these people think it's a game. And this is what bothers me. Well, you don't pay your child support. You're not going to see your child. I tell women all the time, ma'am, if he doesn't have the money, don't rob your child of an opportunity to build a relationship with his father. He just doesn't have it right now. He's doing the best that he can. But we constantly beat and beat and beat. And I see it across the board of where we've just beat our men down, and they're just waiting and looking and hoping that someone will come and help me out of this. It's not like charity, it's humanity.
Good doctor.
Yes.
Excuse me for a minute, but I have to get on you right quick.
Okay.
You're going to stop having these shows, having me sitting there over here crying.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're going to stop doing that. You're going to stop doing that. She does this to me regularly now.
I'm
But
sorry.
I'm just teasing her.
I know it.
I'm just teasing her, but I just had a conversation about this, so it's fresh on my heart and mind. So I'm sitting over here struggling because the community, society, the world needs to hear this, man. They need to hear. They think, don't take us wrong. There's a lot of guys up there that need to be locked up. But for the guys who have changed their thoughts, for the guys who have changed their thought processes and want to actually get out and succeed, these words need to be heard, because part of my nonprofit organization, it's going to be part domestic violence. Champions for domestic violence and women and children, against women and children. But another part of it is going to be going inside prison walls and talking about this kind of stuff, talking about releasing men and women. And like you alluded to earlier, you're releasing them. A lot of people, I see them in the news, I see them in newspaper articles, I see them in online articles. Don't let them out. Don't let them out. Like I said, there's some people who belong there, but for the people who get out and want to change, they need to be let out and given a real chance. Don't put them in a halfway house in my hood where I grew up at, where I got in trouble at in Fifth Ward. Don't do that to me. That's put me at a disadvantage. Thank God for my parents. Parole board talked to them. Hey, can he come to your house? They said yes. Salute to my parents, though. They vetted me, their son, to make sure I had actually changed. Before allowing me to come home. But back to all these men and women who are ready to come home. Please don't attack me for saying all of them need to be released. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the ones who've actually changed. They don't need to be thrown back in Fifth Ward or Third Ward or the Height, not the Heights, Studi Wood, Acres Home. They don't need to be thrown back into that. First of all. Second of all, they need a place to stay, a quality place to stay. Third of all, they need employment, gainful employment, not minimum wage. They got 3 kids. They got 2 kids. They got 1 kid. They got a wife. What are they going to pay for with $8 an hour? They can't pay a car note. They can't pay for a house note. They can't pay insurance. They can't pay their phone bill. They got to rob Peter to pay Paul. And then you're wondering why, as my man already said, you're wondering why they're going back. You're wondering why they're going back to robbing and stealing, because they can't afford to live. So that's why I'm sitting over here crying. I went through it, man. I'm still fighting. But I appreciate you bringing him.
I appreciate him coming. Can
I comment on the robbing Peter to pay Paul real quick?
Yes, sir.
I just want to say this, because, and thank you for this topic.
Yeah.
Mental health. Like we're struggling so hard, and the mental health issues, and sometimes we don't even realize the mental health issues that we're struggling with. Sometimes, the things that we're struggling with, we don't even recognize it. So, like, yes, there is people who maybe some bad people, right? But just when it comes to life and living, we are creative. We are creative by nature. And if you tell me everything I can't do, where I can't go, what you won't give me, how I don't have access, can't have access, or you're going to make a point to make sure that the things that you have to live and survive, I don't get, I will figure it out. So, like, just changing as an individual sometimes for many, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible as long as the people that pay the most taxes, which is the poorest people, that give it to the system to turn around and criminalize them once again for not having, it's going to be almost a cycle for many that they just can't get out of, which creates a deeper hole of mental health issues because they can't figure out how to live without doing something outside the law in order to survive. So even with the change mentality, if you keep denying me, how do I? And where do I go from here? I'm going to have to keep robbing Peter to pay Paul, no matter how bad I want that job over there, because you won't give it to me. Then when you do give me the opportunity, you give me the job that pay the smallest wage ever. Right here in Houston, it costs $21.65 to live in a regular one-bedroom apartment, but minimum wage is still $7.25. So as a person with a record that keep getting denied a job, and then when I finally get one, you give me $7.25, and I'm 29 years old with a whole daughter. I'm $14 short from my rent. What I'm gonna do? I go sell dope. The games, the mental space that you in, just knowing, the things that, the things that we need as a necessity. It's so hard for us to get. And why? Because slavery is still alive and well. And racism is embedded in every system and institution that we interact with on a daily basis. And we need to break down, tear down the walls, and remove the red tape, like you was talking about. We need to completely remove the red tape around housing, because if I can't find a place to live, I'm struggling mentally. And I'm willing to do anything just to have a roof over my head. If I need that medication, that life-threatening medication, that if I don't have it, I can lose my life, I kill you to get that. I'm not saying me because I'm not sick, but I'm just saying the mentality.
I want to go back, though, because when you're talking about release programs, what preparation is done to help these individuals in terms of mental health transition from incarceration to civilian life? That's huge.
There are none. What they want you to do is conform to a particular way of life that continuously feed the system that prey in the Black community. When you come home from incarceration, they want to look at you as if you are beneath and less than, and continuously treat you like you a monster, when the whole fact of the reason that probably got you incarcerated was not that you was a monster, but yet you refuse to fail. You refuse to allow people to keep you away from everything you needed, so you went and took it. Coming back into society, the same things that people needed before they went in the system, they need it when they come home. They need love. They need opportunities, access to resources. And when they come home with a record, we need to actually create a protected class so people don't stay in a continuous mental state of failure, feeling like a failure, feeling like nobody loved them, feeling like they have to settle for less because of something they carry that people don't understand.
I want remind me later to speak to I guess the plethora of African American men who are incarcerated and coming out versus the availability of women, professional women. And we're going to talk about that mix because recently we've been hearing a lot of stories about professional women meeting men or dating men who are incarcerated, and 3 weeks later they're dead. So hold that thought.
Who did, the women?
The women.
See, those are the guys I'm talking about that need to stay in there.
Yeah,
I don't think I heard them stories.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been about 3 of them. Yeah, so we'll come back to that. But let me go on here. So tell us about your organization, Pure Justice. How did it start?
Okay. I like telling the story actually. Because I was sucked into the criminal injustice system when I was 17. Okay. And I actually signed a plea deal, not because I was guilty of committing a crime, but I signed a plea deal in order to avoid maximum punishment, which was 15 years. The way my organization started is because when I actually, growing up, I was totally wet behind the ears and lost, and I jumped off the porch at an early age. I really thought that everybody around me that said they love me did. And a lot of them do. It's just a different kind of love. They would support you, but the support that they give you may not be the actual support that you need. So when I got sucked into the system, my support system that I had would support me in the streets, and you couldn't say my name out of order when I wasn't around. But when it comes to law enforcement, then, that's where people bag up. That was my support system. So I signed this plea deal, get sucked into the system, not because I actually did something, but was looking for leniency, and then found myself into a never-ending cycle of what seemed to be a cycle of the system.
Okay, so go back and explain the plea deal, and what was the plea deal for?
The plea deal was for touching a minor, okay? So I left my mom's house in middle school. My mom was young when she had me, and we bump heads a lot. So I thought the best decision for me was away from the house.
So you struck out on your own in middle school?
In middle school.
Wow.
Yeah. I was doing my thing, taking care of myself. Had the first car in high school, 9th grade. I didn't have to sneak away from the house. Like whatever I wanted to do, I can do it whenever I wanted to do. It was, no big deal. I didn't have nobody to answer to. I just had the big homies around me. And when I was 17, one day, some of the older homies, they came from college. They was like 2 years older than me. And they wanted to hang out with some girls. I was the one in the city. They asked me to call some girls. I ended up calling a female that's 1 year and 4 months younger than me. She snuck away from her home. I had no idea she snuck away from her home, and she come and hang out with me. Now, yes, we touched each other. I'm touching her. She's touching me. It's mutual. But when it came down to it, I couldn't actually perform because it was so many people around, standing in the doorway, standing around the bed, looking through the vent. And it was an uncomfortable situation. I couldn't. The hardest I can get was hard enough to skeet on the floor where her coat was. And we ended up putting our clothes back on. We went downstairs, and I'm giving you the short story because I know we don't have a lot of time. But my name is Roshan, okay? On the way down the stairs, she stopped 2 stairs down from the second stair all the way to get to the bottom, and started whispering back and forth in a guy's ear. And his name is Rashad. And they laughing and joking and hee-heeing and ha-haing and looking at me. I'm ignoring them, whatever. It doesn't matter to me because, one, she's not my girl. And it is what it is. And we are we really just kids doing what kids do when parents not around. They went back upstairs. They had consensual sex. Came back downstairs. They still hanging out, laughing, chilling. And then my phone started ringing. It's this girl's mama. So I take her the phone. She don't want to answer it. The mama keep calling and calling and calling and calling. And after a while, you can see the worry in the girl's face, but I don't care. Like that's what you got to deal with when you go home. And again, I didn't even know she snuck out or away from the house. Her mama told her she can go in the front yard, nowhere else. So when the phone stopped ringing, the girl after a while was like, okay, you can take me home now. We took her back to the house. When we took her to the house, that was the last I seen her. And one of my homeboys that was at the house with us that night, that stayed because we all left, told me law enforcement was looking for me for kidnapping.
Oh, wow.
And I knew I ain't kidnapped nobody. I'm like, whatever. I brushed it off. And a couple weeks later, my assistant wrestling coach asked me what I got myself into, but the charge changed from kidnapping to rape. And I told him what happened because I ain't raped nobody and I didn't kidnap nobody. He told me to write a written statement, turn myself in. I called the girl to see what was going on. And when I called her, she had answered the phone, but when she heard my voice, she wouldn't say nothing. Called her back about 3 times, no answer. And every time she answered, music in the background. You can hear it's like a party over there. And she got so much enthusiasm in her voice, like, hello? And then when she hear me, it's just no talking. So I wrote a 16-page statement, turned myself in the morning. They read the statement, disregarded it as an angry parent, let me go, didn't arrest me. And a couple weeks after that, but they gave me a court date. A couple weeks after that, I seen her in the mall, Flint, Genesee Valley Mall. And when I seen her, she just took off walking away fast and I don't know what, walked away from her brothers because that's who she was there with. And then when she got away from everybody and walked outside the mall, she turned around, bust out in tears like, I'm sorry, it's not me, it's my mama and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, just tell her the truth. She like, I did, and she won't listen to me. And that was the last time I seen her until the court. And my sentence date was May 27th of 2000, which is the day before my 18th birthday. And I was charged with touching a minor at the age of 17, even though we was 1 year and 4 months apart. And the law states that you can't legally have sex between the ages of 13 and 16. It say you can't legally have sex unless you're 18 years of age. But between the ages of 13 and 16, you're considered a child. But I was 17. I was under 18. Neither one of us was 18. We both was under 18. So neither one of us could legally consent. But since she fell between 13 and 16, she was considered a minor. And I was in the gray area and her mama was over there tripping. Yeah.
And you hear this. You hear where, and let me make this plain. I'm not condoning any touching, okay? But you hear it where young people, they're exploring and all of this kind of stuff. And where parents would say, well, he touched my daughter, or he had sex with my daughter, and I want him prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And you're just a baby yourself.
And she snuck away at that.
Yeah. So what was that like for you mentally, emotionally, knowing that I'm about to serve some time or whatever that is?
Actually, I didn't serve any time, right? I signed for probation.
Mm-hmm.
I signed for probation and ankle monitor. But getting off probation, every time I almost got off probation, I violated every single time.
Good doctor.
Yes.
I just told her about that.
Yeah.
So my charge was, when I signed a plea deal, it was either, if I don't sign, I get 15. If I sign a plea deal, my lawyer told me I get 36 months probation and 6 months ankle monitor. And then the judge, when he read my sentence, he read that same exact charge, but he said I would have to register.
As a sex offender?
Yes. I didn't even know what this was.
Wow.
He said, did your lawyer tell you that you have to register as a sex offender? I was like, yes, because I didn't want the 15 years. I'm like, whatever, just give me the sentence. And my lawyer was like, no, I didn't tell him. He said, you're going to have to tell law enforcement where you live for the next 10 years.
Wow.
I'm like, telling them where I live for 10 years over going to prison for 15 years. I'll take that any day, not to mention, it's like that 15 years was my whole life again. I was afraid of doing 24 hours. So I signed this plea deal and I didn't even I don't know what a sex offender is. I just know I don't have to go to prison. I'm on probation. 6 months ankle monitor. I didn't understand what I signed for. I mean, I'm still in high school. Nothing changed. I mean, I'm not really working. I'm just going to school, doing sports. I didn't understand what I did at the age of 17 until I was like 21 when I moved to Houston. When I moved to Houston for the first year, everything was cool. I got a job when I got here. I got an apartment when I lived here. But then after like the first year, everybody was firing me.
Wow.
I had 1 year, I had like 15 or 16 W-2s. When I went to go file my taxes, they was laughing and calling me Jamaicans. Like they had no idea the reason I had so many W-2s is because I couldn't keep a job because of what happened to me when I was 17 that I shouldn't even have had. My housing, I kept getting put out apartment or everybody telling me I can't live here. I had to start literally lying on employment applications in order to get paid legally. And I had to start lying on housing applications just so people give me the opportunity to put a roof over my head, but it never lasted long. When you talk about mental health, this charge of touching a minor that I should have never had on my name, what it did to me mentally was broke me for years. Like I was walking around here, I was a dead man walking. Like I was so miserable and frustrated, and I gave up on life because of everybody telling me what I can and can't do, what they won't pay me, where I can't go, where I can't live. Like I was contemplating all kind of stuff that a lot of people wouldn't even imagine, like homicide and suicide. And it was just, I was hurting. I was pushing people away from me. Like I said, when I came in here, like people that love me, I was pushing them away because I was losing myself. I didn't even know who I was. They didn't even know who I was. And I didn't even realize that, who I was internally was changing because of how broken I was. And I was doing stuff for years that.
Hey, it's time for you to go, man.
Yeah, but I was hurting. I was torn for years.
I want to ask you this question and see if you can drive this home. But before I go there, do we have any questions, Malcolm?
Everybody's just listening.
Okay. All right.
Everybody was saying hello. The last comment we had after Miss Linda was from Ed Campbell. He says, teach, wake it up. He was talking. This was about 15 minutes ago when you were saying slavery is still alive and well. He was bouncing off of you. He said, teach, wake it up. Slavery is more in effect today than ever. Just more of us have access and money, but the family structure and disunity is worse than ever. He came back and said, admiration and appreciation for this conversation, Malcolm. Mr. Campbell tunes in to another show all the time, so it's great to see you tuned in here tonight also. Thank you.
Okay. So guys, if you were just tuning in, Dunn Beasley is not with us tonight, obviously, and we pray that everything is well with her. But we have Mr. Roshan Evans, who is a co-founder of Pure Justice, and tonight's subject is African American men and mental health systems of injustice. And so Mr. Roshan is sharing his journey, why he started Pure Justice and then his incarceration journey. And so I was about to jump into having him explain more, help us to understand. We can see like the superficial. We can see. Well, let me just keep it real. We see, a black man on the street, or they hanging out on the corner. And I admit, I'm one who's like, I admit it. I admit that because, and I'm just telling the truth here. Years ago, when I was a restaurant manager, every time my restaurant was robbed, it was black men who robbed us.
Because they probably couldn't get a job.
Because and I developed really post-traumatic stress behind that. Now I hear what you're saying. But listen, there was a time when I would get on the elevator, and if there were black men on the elevator, I would get off because I was so petrified of being robbed again. If I go to the store now, I'm still, again, we're still talking post-traumatic stress disorder, and they're hanging out on the corner. I'm going to park in the light, and I'm going to wait till I see some other people going in before I go in. I don't want to feel that way about our men, but that's been my experience. That's been my experience. And so I understand this struggle. You said it earlier. We have to pay rent or mortgage. We have families who are dependent on us. Our kids are looking up at, to us. Our wives are dependent on us. And so it has to be a raw deal to not feel like you are capable or able to provide for something that's yours. So I'm understanding that, but I want to hear from you. I want you to drive that home. What is that like? And you too, Malcolm, what is it like not being able to do those things for yourself and your family? Go deep with that, almost like gut bucket. Go deep.
Well, like I've been saying, it really hurts, like it hurts. And to not be able to, but not just not be able to, because there's things that, Brother Malcolm gonna be able to do that I just can't, or you, Sister Williams, you're gonna be able to do certain things that I just can't do because we're all individuals. But when it comes to the things that we all need to live and survive, and I can't do, and people legally box me out of the things that I need to go from one step to the next because I actually carry something they don't understand, because I'm still like a new school slave, and they don't understand that I'm still a slave because it looked different than a black man out on a cotton field picking cotton, but yet a black man in the hood trying to figure out, how to get enough cotton to pay his rent, to where it scared the sisters like you. It hurt. We don't want to rob our sisters. We don't want to be snatching purses and breaking in cars, or breaking in somebody's house when they're not there. It hurt. And it really, and some people, if we had, we wouldn't. We don't want to feel like this. We running around here broken. And just like when we look at little kids in school, we often hear the term, when kids have a cry out for help, they may not talk to you, but they gonna act out. It's the same for adults. As black men, we're screaming for help. We're screaming for love. We're screaming for access and opportunity, and everybody looking at us scream for the access and the opportunity and the help and the love, and they looking at us, demonizing us because of the things that we're doing, acting out in order to get the things we need to survive. They watching everybody continuously keep us away from the basic necessities of life. And we got to rob our way to it. Why? Why do we black men have to rob our way to an opportunity? Why do our neighbors have to be afraid when we come outside?
But let's go back. Because this didn't just start with the system. Where do you think this started?
What is this?
And I'm talking about this. Where did our black men miss the mark, so to speak? Where is the, I'm trying to find the words, but it's almost like, okay, let me use myself as an example. So my parents poured into me. And very early on in life, it was school is important. Well, first of all, God is important. School. We had a choice. You're going to go to college or you're going to the military. There was nothing in between. Where did we as a race of people what's happened to us? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because it's not just the system. We didn't start that's not where life started for us.
It did.
So what's missing? And I want to hear from you two as Black men.
But I don't think Black men actually miss the mark. I want to make this point too.
Well, I mean, there's something missing.
It is.
Yeah.
Everything that we experience and go through is not always because of the choices and the decisions that we made. Sometimes we go through experiences because people actually have the power to put you through that. And the system does play a major role into everything that's happening in the Black community. Because again, like, we're still in a system that has never abolished slavery. I still question right now to this day who actually won the war between the Confederacy and the North, even though both sides had no qualms with slavery. We're still slaves. We, as the Black community, like, so everything is a system. Like everything, you know, we can't operate without some kind of system, you know, regardless if we label it or not. But our Black men are struggling mentally because of the generational trauma that we have been experiencing, the generational poverty that we're continuously born into, that we're trying to figure out how to get out of. We're sitting up here suffering because divide and conquer. Like, even when you talk about from the men, I love our women. I swear to God, I admire y'all. You know, like, cause y'all went through a lot as well. Went through a lot. But outside of everything that y'all went through, one thing that is not denied from y'all, many of you all, is, you know, opportunity to survive, even if it's on a different level. You know, like, from the Black male, a lot of us, it's like the opportunities is completely just pretty much demolished and destroyed. But y'all, as Black women, y'all come together, y'all love on each other, y'all support one another, y'all uplift each other, you know, y'all extend a hand to each other up.
So that's missing. That's the piece you said that's missing.
And I've been begging our Black men to just take a page out of the woman's book. I'm like, we got to learn from them.
Soften up a little bit.
Like, look at everything that they overcame together as one when it comes to, like, and the pay can still get better, but yet it's going up. You know, like, the leadership positions, y'all been falling in them. You know, like, y'all is taking over. And we won't even work together.
Egos.
Egos?
Egos.
Okay.
Testosterone.
Yeah.
Don't egos.
Don't mix.
Yeah.
And I try to instill in men too. You know, hey, I know you're tough. I know you're tough. You could probably beat me up. I could probably beat you up. Can we soften up a little bit?
But, you know, as I'm thinking about this, for the guys who are on the corner or at the gas station or sitting under the tree, there's nobody saying, hey guys, we have some mental health services over here, you know, come and let us help you get right. And many of them don't even know what it is.
Right.
You know, and so that's why I'm sitting under the tree, smoking my blunt, drinking my liquor, doing, you know, because I'm trying my own way to work through my issues. Let me go back to, well, do we have any questions or anything before I continue on?
Yes, before I get to the questions and the interjections from our listening audience, I would like to touch on the question.
Okay.
I'll answer to the best of my ability. It all started, in my opinion, when, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Ed, I haven't seen his comments yet, but he was commenting as I'm trying to get something else together over here. It started when, way back in, I don't know when, the 40s or 30s or the 20s or whenever, when the families black families were split up, and women started getting financial assistance, and the government wouldn't give the women financial assistance if the man was still in the home. So now here the man is sitting outside his own home in order for his family to get assistance from the government. So here we are, fast forward. This is generational curse that started back in the right after slavery sometime when the government started handing out government assistance. Now, a lot of people in the listening audience might be saying that's bull, it's excuses. No. When you instill in someone that this is all that's available to you for generations, that's a curse. You don't know how to get out of it if you never see the tracks. And I thank God for my parents because they allowed me that opportunity to see the other side of the tracks. For most people in the hoods of the world, never see the other side of the tracks. So they're stuck on, well, this is what my great grandfather did. This is what my grandfather did. This is what my father did. This is what my uncles did. Even my aunties did this. My nieces and my nephews did it. I mean, I'm going too far now, but the people that came before me, my uncles, my aunts, my cousins that are older than me, my father, my grandmother, all of them went through this. And here I am, 20, 30, 40 years old. Let's start at teenage. Here I am, 15, 20, 25, 30 years old. I've been seeing this 30 years now. This is all I know. Until you show me a different way, I'm stuck right where I am. This is all that's afforded to me by society, by the government. Okay, now let me get over that. For those who I might suffer backlash from, this is a generational curses. One of the generational curses that we talk about when you say you want to break generational curses. Let's go to wealth. And this is another part of my nonprofit. It's a shame that I went to college, you went to college. I'm not sure if you went to college. So many people go and seek education and they don't teach wealth. What does it take to get wealthy? They don't teach you the tricks of the trade. They don't teach you that life insurance is a way of life. They don't teach you this. That's why you have so many GoFundMes when your parents die, when you die, whatever. I'm going off on a tangent here, and I'm sorry, but I'm very passionate about this. This is why most people are stuck, is because it started decades ago. And it takes what it's going to take to get people unstuck. Is for them to be exposed to all this information, exposed to movements like pure justice and exposed to new ways of life. I can't even remember your question.
That's okay.
Did I answer it?
I don't remember what I asked you.
Being exposed to the opportunities, and going back to what you said too, is like, even when you have the opportunities, right? And say you take them to an area, whatever resource that is, and then you say, okay, I got these resources, and you take it to an area that need the resources, nobody shows up, and people say, see, even when you give them the opportunities and the resource, they don't show up. They say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But even the people that have the access to the resources sometimes be so afraid of the people that need the resources, even when they take the resources to the people don't know the resources is there because you ain't actually went out there and told the people the resources was here. You're afraid to give it to them. So you bring the resources is in the right place. But the people have no idea how to get over there and get it because they don't even know it's available.
They don't even know it's available. Right.
I don't know if I answered the question either. I'm just...
That's okay.
We do have questions though.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Miss Linda says, do you think probation is set up for failure? I say yes. What do you say?
Of course.
I think it's set up. It's for job security. It's set up. You're not going to give them skills to stay free. So what do you think they're going to do?
Mm.
I
They're
mean,
going to violate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're going to do.
right.
So if you don't teach them, before I get jumped on,
Mm-hmm.
you have to teach them a different way. Now, before I get jumped on again, there are people who don't deserve to be free, don't want to change, don't want a chance because they're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about those who are out here trying their best to be not effective. What is the word I'm looking for? To be productive
Mm-hmm.
in society. I'm talking about those. Teach them a different way. So I think it's set up for failure.
Of course, I think it's set up for failure. And while educating and trying to assist people who try to give it all they got to be productive citizens, we have to be fighting together as one, Black men,
All right.
with our women,
Drive it home.
to tear down the walls. We got to remove the red tape. We have to really create protected classes, which will be those that is impacted, that take away the power and the right where people can legally discriminate against you and make sure that you cannot have the tools that is needed to survive. So, because you can give me all the education you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't have the access to get the things I need, like you give me financial literacy, but I don't have the opportunity to get to the finances unless I do something outside the law. It's like, give me that financial literacy, give me the game, teach me. But while teaching me, please remove the red tape because I want to live.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't give me what I need to live, you're killing me mentally, and it's creating a strain in the Black community. And it starts with the men. We're tearing down our communities because of everything that we're going through and suffering from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. We have another question.
Yes.
Okay.
We have Miss Michelle Jones right here. This goes back about 18 minutes. As Black parents, do we not teach our children the law and how it affects them from the rest of their lives? I have one son, and we taught him. No, I drilled in him the laws and what to do when confronted by police, not just when he is stopped by the police in a car, but the law and how it affects us for life.
Mm-hmm.
So the question, do we not teach our children the law and how it affects them for the rest of their lives? I say, of course. I say, yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Most certainly, because I get so tired of seeing this. I grew up to NWA and F the police. I grew up to that. But at some point, you got to be an adult and realize that was just rap lyrics.
Yeah.
They don't live like that.
Okay.
NWA don't look at Ice Cube now. He's a movie star.
Yeah.
He's look at Dr. Dre now. He's a music mogul.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't live like that.
Right.
Eazy-E didn't live like, well.
Yeah, he did.
God bless him. He's no longer with us. But I'm just trying to make a point here.
Yeah.
So I rolled off again on emotions. What was I saying? Yes, you teach them the law because yes, we can protest, but you don't get in front of the police officers. Oh, F you and and I'm gonna beat you up and dude.
Yeah.
No, that's not how you conduct yourself. It's not how you conduct. And I'm big, strong. I'm 260 pounds and strong as a mule. But I'm not even gonna buck a police officer.
And that's a whole nother show because we can talk about and I'm not I'm not taking away from what you're saying. But what I'm saying is that you even see these reels. The cop walks up and the kids take off running, and it's like whoa, or they're trying to fight their way out of it, and somebody's standing on the sideline saying, "Calm down, man. I'm right here. Just calm down. Just don't move." I want to understand that. I understand the fear associated with that. You understand what I'm saying? But that's another show.
I do.
Another show.
Yeah, that's another show. No. I'm just saying.
Can I answer that question?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. If you answer, go ahead, Malcolm.
I'm gonna make it quick.
Okay.
I might get beat up for this too. But like and I struggle with this.
Yeah.
I struggle with it a lot. Because like as a kid growing up, I was always taught, and I truly believe, Brother Malcolm, you too, Sister Williams, and a whole lot of our children was taught the same, which is never allow a bully to bully you. Don't come home crying. You better stand up for yourself. if you know somebody is doing something wrong to you, you bet not let them keep doing it. But then where do we draw the line at? When we get older and grow up and we let it, like that line in the sand is when it comes to law enforcement, the system, back to the system. And it's like, okay, teach the children the law, right? So we can abide by it. But again, every system we interact with is embedded in white supremacy. And once upon a time, the law was you can't sit at the countertop, or you can't walk through that door, or drink from that water fountain. And we still have laws right now to this day that is racist, like shot spotter, where they putting it in our communities. And a lot of people don't even know what a shot spotter is. But they listening devices that's supposed to prevent people from firing guns, but anything can set it off. And when it's set off, and it gets set off by, like, y'all watching a cowboy western, and John Wayne starts shooting, it gives law enforcement the legal right to stop and frisk people in a 0.5 mile radius, which ain't doing anything against the law, but yet might be having or be doing something against the law, like walking with a bag of weed in their pocket, or have something in their pocket to protect them. Long story short is following the law. All the laws, they are not meant for Black people. Laws are created to control some and protect others. We need to teach our children what's right and what's wrong. We have to instill in our kids morals and values and the power of unity and the reasons why we should come together. Because if we don't fight against a system that has continuously traumatized us from generation to generation, it'll never stop. That's including the law. And we got to take a stand, because if we don't, we're going to continuously keep bringing children into a space of mental anguish.
So you go ahead, Malcolm.
Do you want me to make sure
what
we get everybody in?
Yeah. Go ahead.
There's a lot of comments.
Yeah, I just want to say that our intern won't make it tonight. He
Okay.
said he got off late, and so he'll come next week.
Okay.
All right.
I don't want to ignore anybody. We
Yeah.
have a lot of comments.
Yeah.
We only have 2 hours. I'm gonna at the end of this show, I'm gonna talk the good doctor into getting a 4-hour show. No, I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just teasing. But with all the comments, we only have 2 hours. I'll do my best to get to y'all. Okay. Please don't be angry with us if we don't. We went all the way back. There's like 10 comments I need to get to. We're gonna start right here. Why do you think so many Black men are reluctant to get mental health and therapy?
I think we're reluctant to get therapy and mental health treatment for the simple fact that, when we talk about our problems, we demonized. Like, we're not supposed to be able to have problems and issues. We're supposed to be able to handle everything. We got thick skin. Like, we don't have therapy because, and it's hard to admit when you can't afford something as well. We're born into generational poverty. Are we all poor? Absolutely not. No. But a lot of us, we can't afford it. And honestly, we should be able to talk to the people that's right next to us, and we can't even talk to them, because talking to the people next to us about some of our problems, they use it against us. And they beat us up with it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm not cutting you off. But every time you say something, it touches my heart. Thank you.
And I will acknowledge and admit that I want to understand. And so this is good, because I live in my own bubble, and I'm just gonna say it, y'all. And I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but I get to do a lot of things. And I get to do a lot of things that traditionally Black people don't do.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not saying we don't do it, but I can say that I haven't seen any Black males, when I was doing scuba diving and surfing and all that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? And that's not to keep me away from that group or my people. It's just that they weren't there.
Right.
When my sister and I are traveling or whatever, she's like, where are we? I'm in Amsterdam. Where are we? So,
right.
I want to understand, and I want to do my part to offer these therapy services to people who need them. You know, and I want to be able to offer opportunities that people would not necessarily have. You know, that kind of thing. So, and I'm no better than the rest. I want to make that plain. This has been years of growing and getting to this place. And I think I have just gotten to the place where, because I enjoy myself so much doing what I do, it's like I don't even make space for that. I don't even make space for a relationship, because it's like, no, because I don't want to be knocked off my game. I'm right here enjoying myself. And so again, as I said, I want to understand more, so that I can contribute and help where needed.
You know, it's funny. When I walk into the Harris County Jail, one of the biggest mental health providers in the city, and I look around, and over 50% of every single pod is Black, and the rest of them is almost Latino, with speckles of white people in there. Even though if you look it up on the website, it say the Latinos and the whites is around the same amount of number, but they labeling the Latinos as white, and it's Black, and they over 50%. Then when you say you get the opportunity to do things that other people don't, you know, like that look like us. I swear to God, I was just in the airport, and I'm always in the airport. And I was thinking about this like 2 weeks ago. I'm looking in the airport, and I'm comparing it to the biggest mental health facility, which is the jail. And I'm looking around in the airport, and almost everybody in the airport, they wasn't white, but they was white complected for the most part. So I'm looking at all these white people and white complected people. I'm not saying it was only white people, but I'm saying a lot of white people and white complected people, they the ones traveling and doing all this, you know, going from one place to the next. While on the other end, the people who can't travel in the mental health space, the jail, it was all Black and brown people. And I thought that was very, you know, it was like, and I've been seeing this, but it just, I don't know why I started thinking of this. It's like, wow, they get to do all the cool stuff. Look at where I'm at. I'm up in here traveling with the white people and the white complected people.
But I want to speak to that though, because you know, I don't want anybody to think that all white people are bad. This is not bashing white people.
No, sir.
We had a mama and a dad in our lives that made sure we stayed on the straight and narrow. So we have a lot of parents who have messed up and have not fulfilled their responsibility as parents and helping their children to be on that right path. We know it's a game out here to play. We know this. We know. My father drilled this in us from his stories of sitting at the counters downtown and boycotting and all that stuff when he was at TSU. We've heard the stories, but there is something. It has to be something about an individual, excuse me, that would, but again, it goes back to being taught. I got to stay there. We knew that if we, excuse me, got off track, we were going to get our butts whipped, period. So there was not anything that I wanted to do that was going to jeopardize my future, again, because I had those parents in my life. My daddy and my mama put it on my butt when I needed, but they also gave us their guidance and their love. So that's what I was talking about earlier, referring back to that. That's missing. It's missing where parents are die hard and want to be all in with their kids. And instead of, you made me mad, go raise yourself. When I heard that yesterday, somebody saying that somebody who was 15 or 16 had to raise herself. And I'm like, what? 15 to 16? I had me a little part-time job at Burger King, lying and said I was 16 years old, in band at school, just enjoying myself. We took that away from our kids. We stripped them of the opportunity of having a normal developmental and maturational growth, right? But we stripped them from experiences, and what we did was we put a phone in their hand. We put some nails on them. We put some eyelashes on our little high school girls because they want to be like everybody else, instead of letting them be kids and sticking to that straight and narrow of, you're going to do what I say, when I say, and I don't care if you like it. Now, when you get grown and you get out here and you're paying your own bills, but right now you're going to be a child. We're forcing them to grow up too fast. So again, I'm not knocking that there is racism. I agree with you 100%. But I think in large part, we have done a poor job when it comes to raising our kids and teaching them about the ways of the world and teaching them how to fit in this world. Instead, we let the streets teach them. Get you a gun. Get you, go shoot somebody. It's okay. And mamas and daddies smoking weed with their kids. There's something wrong with us.
Mama twerking next to dog.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
I've seen videos where you have a mama doing a twerk video and you've got the 4-year-old right there with her with some Daisy Dukes on, twerking, and I'm going.
Yeah. And you don't even realize you're teaching your daughter to be a prostitute.
You teaching her.
So when she grows up and does not know how to manage herself around men,
right,
and has all of, you know what I'm saying, all that baggage and stuff,
right,
you created this mental health monster.
That's right.
Okay.
And I agree with you totally. We dropped the ball. As far as I'm concerned, I was just an unruly and what's the word I'm looking for? What do you do against your parents?
Rebellious.
Rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
I was just rebellious, and that's what happens with a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
I was just rebellious. I had 2-parent home. He moved me. My mom and dad moved me out of Fifth Ward, moved me out here to Spring, Texas, and I just did not want to let go of the hood. That's what ended up getting.
But I grew up in Fifth Ward.
You did?
Yeah.
He never talked about that for real.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
I'll be. I grew
Still
up.
live in the area.
You still live in the area? And so you know what I'm talking about. You had 2-parent home, and they told me, you do that, we're gonna beat you behind. And my dad would even come up to the school. You remember when they used to paddle us?
Yeah.
He wouldn't allow the principals to paddle us, so he'd come up there and paddle them for the principal.
And we saw a lot of our peers crumble around us.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to go back to that home. My mom and daddy weren't having that.
No.
And so it was like, hey, no, you can come over here. You're not playing with them. No, don't you go in that house. You come back. That kind of stuff.
Right.
And if we even look like we wanted to talk back, my mom was like, you go out there and get a switch. So we want to go get this little small one. She wants you to come back with a whole tree limb that's about 80 feet high. And you got your tail toe up. Right. We pushed the limits, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, they were inside teaching us what to do, what not to do, and setting the foundation for our future. So,
yes,
all right. So any more questions? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. We have basically on the note we're talking about right now, Miss I think Michelle Jones said, what should we be teaching right here?
Yeah, we went to that one, right?
We did that one already?
I think.
Okay.
What does it say? Black sons.
What should we be teaching our black sons, nephews, and grandsons?
Okay.
I think we should be teaching them morals. I mean, it goes back to the law question, right? It says, should we teach our youth the law, or what should we teach them, right? I mean, we have to teach our youth how to survive. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm gonna emphasize, like that term, product of your environment.
Yes. Sir.
Like we are. People think redlining it doesn't exist. Redlining is still alive and well as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, explain to our kids what redlining is.
So I wasn't here when redlining was happening. Mm-hmm. I mean, well, they was actually using that term, redlining. I read about this
now.
Yeah, right.
Redistricting.
Like, okay, right, redistricting. So redlining was where the invisible line that doesn't really exist, but really exists, you couldn't, if you were black, move over in a particular area. They kept us all in one space, which created the projects. And this is where they built the tall buildings to house people, on, the, what do you call it? The, wow, I can't think, but it could be paid for, like public assistance, the housing. And they kept these spaces poor and filled with black people. And when you are poor and everybody trying to figure out how to live, yes, it's gonna be high crime. So what do we teach our children, right? Like, because we could teach them to do the right thing. We could teach them yes, sir, no, sir. We could teach them, how to deal with law enforcement, but we got to teach them what's right, what's wrong, morals and values. And we have to teach them when there is a time to come together, because like this redlining and keeping us poor, like we don't have to be in these spaces, but we are. Like we're shoved in these spaces and we're kept here. And the crabs in the buckets are our people unintentionally, because they are holding their people back because they don't know how to get out, and they're dealing with so many mental health issues and problems. We have to teach each other how to love each other. We have to teach each other, how to walk with each other through the problems that we have and how to overcome together. We have to teach each other that we're all we got. And we have to teach each other that no matter how good you are does not mean that you will not be impacted. No matter how much you follow the law, don't mean you won't go to jail. No matter how much of a good steward as you are, don't mean you won't get abused by law enforcement. But what we need to be teaching our children is what's right and what's wrong. And when you see your brothers and sisters dealing with something, if it's them, it's also you. So you need to protect your people, regardless of whoever you're protecting them from, because we're in this together. That's what we need to be teaching our people.
Well,
how to fight as one.
I'm gonna speak to that though, because I can teach it all day long, but it doesn't mean that people are going to want to receive what I'm teaching. And see, you have to be in the right mindset to accept the good news. Not everybody wants it. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, I'm trying to teach young ladies about how to dress appropriately, what that means professionally, the message that I got them in my right mindset to hear that. Because let me tell you, I've talked to some young ladies about dressing modestly, etc., and dressing for the workforce, and long nails is not good when you go up for an interview. Green hair, you want to be, you know what I'm saying, received or looked upon as professional. You have to change that. Just because your friends say that it looks good, it doesn't mean it's good for the workplace. I've been cursed out.
Yeah.
And then, I think I'm better. I'm this, I'm that. You understand? So we got to be in the right frame of mind to accept stuff, let me just say it, that you probably didn't get at home.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of trauma. And we act out. Everybody not going to want to receive,
no, they don't.
Particular gifts.
Yeah.
But just like negativity is a virus, love is too. So you got to work with the people, who want to work with you. Like everybody got people that's watching them, and everybody got people that look up to you, like we need to start walking with people, and bringing people together, because the people who sitting up here admiring you, you looking at them and don't want to be around them. You go love on them people.
Exactly. Let's pause here. Let's just take the next caller, because I almost forgot about our giveaways tonight. Guys, we have a smart watch for the first caller, and I'll let Malcolm give the number because I cannot remember it.
The number to call in to win is 832-560-2885. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen right there up under your nose, everybody. 832-560-2885. I'm going to put the picture on the screen right now. Go ahead and describe it again. What are they going to win?
They're going to win a smart watch for the first call. Whoa! Go ahead. Welcome to the Wisdom Walk. This is Dr. Annette. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to?
Hi, this is Ginger Ross.
Hey, Ginger, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. You've won yourself a smart watch.
Yay!
All right.
I'm just so excited for the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you. I have your name written down. I will get that watch to you expeditiously.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for tuning in.
Good work.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So, go ahead and answer it. Welcome to the Wisdom Walk. I have the pleasure of talking to.
Hi, this is your sister, Michelle Jones.
Hey, Michelle. Well, your sister Ginger beat you to the smart watch.
But that's all right.
But listen, we have a spa basket. It is donated by Christian Comfort Sonia Jones, who's a member of the Church of Christ in Bryan. She is also running a special, ladies and gentlemen, and Malcolm's going to run that on the screen. If you order your spa baskets by Monday, I believe, I don't have the notes in front of me, I think you get an extra $2 off your spa basket. So you want a spa basket, and I will get the watch over to you and the spa basket because I know you will see Sister Ginger.
Yes, I will. Thank you for that.
All right.
Y'all.
All right. So we want to thank Quintrell Williams, who donated the smart watch. Victoria Williams' son. I mean, that is such a huge blessing. And also Christian Comfort for their spa basket tonight. I'm going to pull up her email before we depart tonight because she is running a special, guys. Excuse me. And she makes some awesome desserts. So if you're looking, and not just desserts, like body creams and lotions and all that stuff. So if you want to order something special, order it from Sonia Jones. All right. So we're getting close. What time is it? 8. I'm going to get some water quickly. We have any more questions?
There's plenty of cold ones in the fridge.
Okay.
Well,
You want something as well?
to your left.
Okay.
To your left, and there's plenty in the bottom crisper.
Okay.
Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Please tap the love or like button 1,000,000 times. Just hit the love or like button a few times for us and boost that algorithm for us. Tag other individuals who've been incarcerated. Tag mothers and fathers who have children who are currently incarcerated, who have been incarcerated. This show is for you. That's what we're talking about tonight. It's mental health. It's mental health, the mental health of individuals who've been incarcerated before. Tonight, we are with our guest tonight. I keep forgetting his first name, but this is Roshan. And his organization is called
Pure Justice.
Pure Justice. Everybody, I'm going to put his logo up on the screen in just a minute. He's showing his chest off right now to show you his logo. I'm sorry, I can't get this off the screen. But anyway, this is his logo right here. Pure Justice written across his chest. Go ahead. I got you on the screen now. Go ahead and open up your chest. There you go. Pure Justice. Where can they find your company on social media?
You can look us up. Just type the word Pure Justice on Facebook, Pure Justice _HTX on Instagram or Twitter. The website is www.purejustice.org. And before we close off, and I know it's almost there, I do want to make sure that everybody understand what I experienced in the system is not what Pure Justice is about. I think I'm not the one to get into the selfish advocacy, and everything that we work around is for the community as a whole. So we work around community issues. I'm a book author. I've written 4 books. 3 of the books is around the criminal injustice system, and one is to push people beyond traditional ways of thinking. But I use my story as a financial avenue to fund the community needs. Like, so when we have problems and issues within the community, I use my story to fund the things that we want to work on for the community.
I want to bring something up though, and you told me not to shy away from any questions. Okay. You had your own story of rape. Okay. So is that something that you are okay with talking about?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, like, and again, once upon a time, it was tough for me to talk about this. You talk about mental health, like just to hear the words sex offender, or anything that have to do with any type of sex crime. Nobody want to be sitting up here talking about that, especially if you the one that's carrying it, because nobody care about how you got it.
But you were also a victim.
I was the victim.
You were the victim in both instances.
Okay. It's only one instance.
Okay.
You know that when I was 17, like what I've dealt with, I'm still carrying that. Like when I went to prison for this, it was 15 years later after I should have had already been done with everything that I signed for, yet the system has that stronghold on me and refused to let me go. I went to prison 15 years after the fact of me signing the plea deal for something I shouldn't even have been in the courtroom for. It's the same thing.
And so you're still
right now, to this day.
Still okay to this day.
I'll be forever carrying a chain around my neck and an anchor tied to my leg that nobody can see and feel or understand, except people who walk around with the invisible chains around their neck and an anchor strapped to their leg, just like me.
Okay. So how is your organization helping people?
So we have 3 priorities: criminal justice reform, wow, I just got a brain fart, but racial justice reform, criminal justice reform, and economic justice reform. So like the things that we work on right now, one is RISE. That's an acronym, okay? It's reimagining safety for everybody. That's what the acronym is. When you reimagine, you have to re-educate at times. So a lot of people, they talk about more law enforcement, more jails, more judges, more DAs, but yet law enforcement will forever be reactionary, and they don't save and protect nobody. Okay, they can deter you from doing something, but if I wait, I'm still gonna come get you later. If you want to prevent people from doing things outside the law, if you really want to create a safe space and save the children, save the elders, save the communities, you got to give them what they need to survive. So instead of continuously putting money or funding a system that punish people because they are poor, black, or come from a particular zip code, give them the things they need to survive. Like put that money into building grocery stores and grocery deserts, or put the money in the educational system, put the money into the mental health space, put the money into housing, put the money into any and every system that we can use to get to the next level, instead of push me or drag me deeper down in the hole with incarceration because what I don't have. The next one, we working on fair housing. We want to redefine 2 key terms that boil my skin every time I hear them. And that is, 1, second chance. They sitting up here using this word second chance like they want to give you housing, but the second chance they talking about is if you got eviction on your record, they'll work with you again. But if you're not talking about giving people housing because of a record they carry that you don't understand, you're not really talking about a second chance. And then the affordable piece, you want to go from the median household income from a particular area, instead of basing it off minimum wage. Again, it costs $21.65 to live right here in Harris County, but minimum wage is still $7.25. If you're not talking about making housing available for people who make minimum wage, so it don't have to be 2 and 3 of them in 1 bedroom sleeping on the couch, then you're not talking about affordable. And right now we in the research stage, and we're trying to figure out like who will house whom with what records. We have a spreadsheet right now with about 400 different apartments, and the data that we have been pulling is nasty because nobody is willing to give people housing. It's on a case by case, and when I hear case by case, I hear I hear racism. I'll do it for you, but not y'all. And the third thing that is a big deal when pure justice is exercising our civic duties. So we work around, access to the ballot box. We go in places where people are afraid to go, and we make sure that people that have experienced the system in a particular way, that have went to prison or been in jail or been on probation, understand that as long as you are not on probation or parole, no papers, you can still register and cast a ballot. It doesn't matter what you've experienced 6 months ago or 20 years ago. You still have that opportunity to voice who your representatives are. We go into jail, Harris County Jail, to make sure the people that don't have the money to pay a financial cash bail system get the same access and opportunities to register to vote as people who can afford to pay bond. And then when it's time to vote, we make sure the polls are actually hooked up at the jail so they can leave the cell and go down and cast a ballot, because a lot of the judges that they sent in front of are elected officials. And then the people we hire, when you see the people with the red shirts on that work with Pure Justice, 9 times out of 10, they probably got a prison number, a jail number, been impacted some kind of way, directly or indirectly. So the economic opportunities, we make sure we give the people that is looking for a way to pay their own bills without working 2 and 3 jobs. We give them the opportunities, because for the elected officials and people who aspire to be, if you ain't never been through nothing except school, then you have no business creating laws and policies or creating rules that you don't even understand how they impact people, unless you coming down and talking to people like Brother Malcolm or people with the red shirts on, or people who come from certain communities that you're afraid to go in. So these are the things we work on.
Okay, all right. Do we have any more questions, Malcolm?
Yes.
Okay.
I started following. D. Rochelle said I started following him on Instagram. That goes to everybody else too. I put his website up as well. We're talking with Pure Justice. I'll put his logo back up, and I'm sure he's going to open his chest back up for you in just a second. That is the name of his organization, Pure Justice. For those who are just now tuning in, let them know what Pure Justice stands for. Right?
Pure Justice, we work to bring fairness and equity to the criminal justice system, as well as create economic opportunities for marginalized groups. If you want to get involved, please reach out, www.purejustice.org. If you want to learn more about me, when you go to the website, click the store. My autobiography is Stolen Identity. You get the good, the bad, with the embarrassing, the true me. Check us out. And please come get involved, because it's way too much work, not enough bodies, and we need you.
I like this guy. I have a couple others that I'm going to bring in on a talk show. We're going to be talking about this. Like I told you before, part of the nonprofit will be reaching out and making sure that these men and women who are locked up, who want to get out and be productive in society, we want to give them something to come home to, instead of dropping them in quicksand like they are. So I don't want to prolong it. We are going to go longer tonight, so don't sweat it. Don't think you got to end at 8:30. If we go to 8:45 or 9, that's fine. Okay.
All right. So just a few more questions, though. But I was asking if there were any more questions from.
Great discussion. James Hudson said, great discussion. It all starts at home. Train up the child.
James, I want you to call in, because I want you to speak to, I think it's Jeremiah Johnson. So call in, James, if you're still listening, because that's been a really sticky situation in terms of how that young man was shot by police officers. And I think he had some mental health issues. So James, if you're out there and you still tuned in, call in, because I want to ask you to share a little bit about that story.
Oh, he's got the T-shirt on.
Who?
I am Joshua Johnson.
Yeah, Joshua Johnson. That's it.
He's got the T-shirt on and his T-shirt.
Yeah.
Mr. James Hudson, please call in. The call-in number is right under your nose, right there, sir. It's 832-5602-885. Let's talk about Joshua Johnson for a minute.
Yeah. He had some mental health issues, and I understand that some police officers are trained. Some are trained to address mental health, when you're out in the community. But I've heard a couple of sides to that story, that it's my life or yours. And this mental health stuff comes last. And so, it's really sad the way that he died.
Right.
All right. So any other questions before we?
Yes.
That train the kids too, right? And I struggle with this too. Like all this, I struggle with it. Because we teach our children to follow the law. And I'm not saying people should go out here and just be, Rampage Jacksons or Tasmanian Devils, but we have to teach our people how to come together and love each other and support each other. Because if we keep teaching them only the law, we teaching them to follow a rule that is meant for you to stay where you are. We have to come together and start breaking the chains. We got to teach our children not just to follow the law, but when it's appropriate not to. Because just because something is law or rule don't mean it should be followed. And if we never challenge rules and laws, we'll still be yes sir, no sir, and picking the cotton. And we still picking cotton right now. And yes son and no son. It's just different.
It's what do they call it? Systemic. It's systemic now. It's not overt. It's not blatant like it used to be. It's systemic. Mr. Hudson did ask for the number.
Oh, okay.
There's the number on the screen, sir. 832-560-2885. As far as other questions.
But I want to bring this back though, because I know again we have our feelings about the legal system. I want to talk about how we can repair this, and I want us to bring it back to mental health and our men, our African American men. That's just
Or what?
A piece of paper. Right there.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, this is James Hudson.
Oh boy, you are in a car driving, aren't you?
No, I'm actually in the I'm actually in the gym doing my workout, but I've been listening to you guys all this the whole segment.
well. James, can you give us the short about Joshua Johnson's story? Because I know that he had some mental health issues, did he not?
No, Joshua didn't have any mental issues. Joshua was a veteran of the United States Army. He had no mental issues whatsoever.
Okay, James, I'm sorry. Can you step out a minute because we can't hear you?
Yeah, I'm trying to get out.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh my God. Can you hear me now, again? You still can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Well, yeah. So yeah, he was a veteran in the Army, and that a lot of things have been pushed out there. Joshua didn't have any type of mental health issues.
If he was a veteran, he had some mental health issues. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about as far as what happened in the incident. I mean, it didn't pertain to any type of mental as far as what took place with the shooting of Joshua Johnson. Yeah, I think just about everybody's got some type of mental health issue. I've been working in mental health for 30 years. So, but anyway, it's a great show that you guys are talking about. It's a big time topic, and that's why I said I think you mentioned this, not the other gentleman mentioned it about the training that we get. That's where all this stuff stems to and from, and that's why you see so many communities breaking down because they don't have that mother and father like you had and I had to train us up and to put us in check. And once we lost that, we lost our community. You go back into the community where you and I both grew up in, and you see that there are children not outside playing, and they're not active. The parents don't go up to the school like the gentleman said to check on them. That's all that stuff. That's why the Bible says you got to train them up. We don't have to second guess what's happening. We already know what's happening. We do not have those type of parents anymore on the average that train up their children. You got the streets training up these young people, and that's why they're cold-hearted, and that's why you're afraid of them, because they will get in front of you at 6 years old and curse you out. I never saw a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid curse their mother out when I was growing up. None of my friends, zero. And you know, I was a football star. You know that I hung out with all those guys. None of them carried a gun. Not one person I know my whole life that I hung out with had a gun in his car, in his pocket, nowhere. Because they had parents and they had neighborhood moms that said, who is that kid over there? Stay away from him. Like you said, don't go over there. Don't do this. Don't do that. They were aware of what their children were doing at all times. So that's where we have dropped the ball, is parenting. Parenting has dropped because of all of this nonsense that we see happening right now. No fear of God. You didn't have an option of whether or not you were going to go to church. I didn't have an option whether I was going to go to church. And like you said, there was no back talking, you're going to go to church Sunday morning, Sunday evening, because I'm going to put the fear of God in your heart. So that when you're out there in the world, you can't just take a gun and blow somebody's brains out just to see what it feels like. The The training, that's why the Bible, you have to keep going back to the word of God. Let's forget about all this worldly stuff. God already told you, if you don't train him, he's going to go out there and he's going to be a lost child. That's what he's going to be. Because I was introduced to God at 8 years old, that's why I can't go out and hurt nobody. That's why I believe in going out there passing out food to people. Giving them the coat off my back, because I know God's going to provide me with another coat to put on my back. The training that I had, these children don't have that type of training. And we're the ones, we're about the last generation that actually have that fear of God. This young generation, I'm telling you, this world is in trouble. 5 years from now, this place is going to be off the freaking chain, because these people have no respect of God, no fear of God, no knowledge of God. And what else are they going to do? It's a lot of things I could have done, but I don't do it because my fear of God. That's not fear of you or the other guy that got muscles or my fear of God is what keeps me on solid ground. What you can do? Hey, I can fool you all day long. I can fool my co-workers, but I can't fool God, and I know that. See, so at the end of the day, when I look at that mirror, I ain't answering to you. I'm not answering to my mama. I have to answer to God, who supplies all of my needs. And once you understand that, you don't want to get out here and get involved in all that. Hey man, let's try this, let's try that. No. Why? Because not only do I fear God, I have respect for my mom. What if my mom, I'm over here doing crack and cocaine? I don't want to break her heart. I was just thinking about myself because of the background I had, the rearing that I had. Not only to fear God, but to love and respect my parents, to want my sisters and brothers to say that, if they're proud of me. So I know you want me to talk about Joshua Johnson, but there are some things I can't talk about. We're right in the middle of a civil lawsuit right now as we speak. And God is working that thing out in a way that you're going to find out soon here. You'll see what we've been doing for the past 4 years. And God says, I am with you. He proves it. And I'm telling you, he is proving it. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because I went before a grand jury. So the things that I can't talk about, but trust me, God is with us on that. And I do want to compliment my boy, Rashawn. I've met him at Pure Justice, and I've been to some of the events that he's put on. He's doing a great job in our community, and I'm really proud of what he's doing. And I thank God for it. So there you go.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, James.
You're welcome, baby. Take care.
All right. All right. So I talked about how we can fix this. How can I, and I'm sure there are others, how can I work through my fear of being in an elevator with black men? Or when I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very serious about this. Or when I'm at Family Dollar or Dollar General and I see a couple of brothers come in with their red bandanas hanging out of their pocket, and you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then I put my stuff down and I go out the store because I'm like, I'll go somewhere else where I don't feel threatened. I don't want to feel that way, but I'm keeping it real because of the experiences that I've had.
That's right. I totally understand.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
but I love our men. I'm gonna throw that in.
Yes, ma'am, I do too.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I used to be one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna explain it from my point of view.
Yeah.
You are not wrong,
Mm-hmm.
because even though I used to be one of them,
Mm-hmm.
good doctor, I can't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We can go to the finest restaurant in town right now.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you and Roshan.
Mm-hmm.
My back is not going to be turned away from that door,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to see the craziness that comes in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I brought that from inside the walls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I went, library, to eat, wherever I went,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be watching the door. So you're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I still do it right now. I can go to Walgreens. I can go to Ruth Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to my favorite Cajun restaurant, Papa Do's. Shout out to y'all. I want a sponsorship. By the way, Papa Do's is one of my favorite restaurants. I'll eat there every day. I'm not going in there without watching.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't have to be just blacks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching everything
Mm-hmm.
and everybody. So you're not wrong. If I get on an elevator, it's not you that needs to correct yourself. I find myself getting on an elevator, and it could be white, black, Hispanic. people don't like talking.
Mhm.
I will purposely. Now I know I don't always dress. You know, I might my dress code might be a little off sometimes, and people are like, "Oh boy," they have the same reaction. To make sure that they're comfortable, I'm gonna shoot something at them. How you doing? What floor are you on, sir? It's not all on you. It's on how they conduct themselves. I know how to conduct myself. How you doing, ma'am? Can I help you, ma'am? You're overloaded there. You got a suitcase, you got a attaché case, you have a laptop in your hand and 100 pieces of mail. Can I help you get to the car, ma'am? To make you feel better. Now, some women are like, no, thank you, because that could be a route to get you by yourself.
Yeah.
But anyway, to answer your question, it's not all on you. To keep it short. But now that I've covered the other person, the black man or whoever that you're afraid of that walks into an elevator, who walks out of this building, it's dark outside and you don't know what he's thinking about. He's got a red bandana on his pocket, whatever he's got on. To you, I've already covered his actions, their actions. To you, like I said already, in my opinion, you're not doing anything wrong, because I'm the same way, and I'm a 260-pound man who knows how to fight. If I leave out of here right now, it's dark outside. I'm looking in every bush. I'm looking beside my car. I'm gonna walk all the way around it and make sure nobody's ducking on the other side of it. If I happen to see, and every now and then we're on a bus line here outside the building. Every now and then they'll get off the bus and they'll walk across the parking lot to their apartment, which is right behind here, this fence. If they're walking through this parking lot, whether it's Dr. Annette or myself, I'm gonna keep an eye on them, because I don't know that they just got off the bus. I don't know that they just went to McDonald's or Burger King or KFC that's right across the street. I don't know this. I don't know if they're gonna they just timed me to come out of this door to rob me or not. So as far as you're concerned and your question, and then I'll hand the microphone to Roshan, I don't think you're wrong at all. And Roshan,
I don't think you're wrong either. Like, your feelings is legit, you know, and again, like, the things we're dealing with a lot, you know, like the mental health problems that we internally carry that people don't understand, it causes, and I'm not making excuses for people, but it causes people to act outside of character, even when they don't realize it's out of character. Like, in some instances, we actually grown to think certain things is normal in particular areas because it's all around us and it's all we see. When yet it's a community of people screaming for help. When you see that young man walking around with the bandana hanging out his pocket on the block selling dope, snatching purses, prostituting, doing drugs, it's all a cry out for help.
Hold that thought, because I mean, you just made me think about something too. And again, I'm being completely transparent. And it hurts my feelings as a woman, as a Black woman, to have a brother walk up, can you spare me some change? I feel some kind of way about that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not needed, because you talked about helping earlier, okay? And I get that. But it's like, Black man, I want to look up to you.
Right.
I want to look at you and say, look at brother. You know what I'm saying? Boy, you all right. But I just feel so hurt when, can you spare me 50 cents? Can you? That bothers me.
Yeah, we got problems. We on drugs, and we are not ourselves. And we don't realize we're not ourselves because we are so absorbed into the trauma that we was born into. You shouldn't have to feel this way, but you will forever feel this way until we start getting our Black men what they need. And again, this is not a excuse, but what we need to do, and it will be a process. But when I say we need to get our Black men what they need to survive, we need to protect them. Black men need to be a protected class. Black people need to be a protected class. People that hold a record need to be a protected class, because no man should be walking around here asking you for spare change. But we are. And it's lots of reasons behind it.
Yeah.
And it's because, again, it goes back to, the economic opportunities that is deprived and denied from me. It goes back to, like being beat up by life so much to where everything has been stripped and ripped away from me that I just don't know where I'm going to live tonight. I am hungry. You think we feel good for walking up to you and asking you for some change?
And I know you don't. That's what I'm saying. It's a hurtful thing.
It hurts.
And it's like, how do we even respond to that? Because I could give you 50 cents. I can give you $1. But is that going to fix where you are? Is that going to help you, you know what I'm saying, to get out of this place and to be a better person? So when I leave a situation like that, I am just so down, because it's like, man.
To fix our mental stability, to repair Black men as a whole, we have to create some kind of protected class that creates an environment that is no longer legal to punish them because they are Black and Black men, or come from a particular zip code, or because they come from generational poverty, or come from a place where their support system don't look like wealth, access, and opportunity, but knuckle crunching other Black men that's trying to figure out how to live and survive just like them. We have to protect our Black men, because if we don't, our women is going to continuously be scared. We're going to continuously keep having the same problems that we're having, as far as people stealing, robbing, doing B&Es, selling dope, unjustified murders, and it all boils down to what we don't have. And when we don't have, and we're all in that space that's red line, what I was getting to earlier, the people that's hurt and impacted the most are our neighbors, friends, and family, because we're a group of people that don't have nothing, and we're all trying to figure out how to survive. So when you only put just a few scraps, into a space with a whole bunch of people that's still not enough, we beating and killing and racing for whatever the little resources are, which is, again, deteriorating our mental space, our mental health. And until we can come together, fight on one accord, understand that we need each other to survive, and start like advocating for policy changes that we know is embedded in racism, we're going to continually have the hardships throughout the generations to come if we don't work together.
That's right. And we real quick, that what you just said makes me think of, and I know this is a whole nother show. I know what doctor's going to say. I know this is a whole nother show.
That's all right.
But a lot of people still don't understand what Colin Kaepernick was kneeling about. Those policies that are written that don't stand for us, they were written for 1863, 1893, when we were being freed from slavery. They weren't written for the Black man who's living in 2023, the Black woman who's living in 2023, the Black children who are living in 2023. So Colin Kaepernick kneeled because he feels like, hey, I'm saluting something that was supposed to kill us.
And we wouldn't even support him.
We wouldn't even support him. And I understood the whole time. And people, you shouldn't be in America. No, I love America, but it needs to change. Period. It needs to change. What you got me saluting a flag? You got me saluting the national anthem that was not written for me, and you have the audacity to say you don't understand what I'm thinking. Anyway, y'all, that's another show. Sorry, that's another show. He just sprung me when he said those policies were written, but they weren't written for us. And if you want to vote for policies that are going to help you, help your people, help people that look like you and think like you and walk like you and talk like you. That's what that's all about. So, good doctor.
Okay. Well, we're about to close. So any final thoughts, comments, go ahead and send them in, or you can call. And many more were once homeless. Some people really do need help, and those other people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah. I don't know who I was talking to. Yeah.
You were saying, how do you know how do you act when
Oh.
you're scared of black men? And he was addressing you. I think no.
No, he's talking about homelessness.
Homelessness.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I was just sharing my situation, and again, it's not a good place to be in. It doesn't feel good because your struggles are like mine, and they may be a little different, but at the end of the day, I still wear this black skin, and I still have folks who discriminate because I wear it or because they feel some kind of way. And I'm just going to say it. Like I told Lisa the other day, I'm no better than anybody else. But you have people who feel like, oh, well, she has those alphabets behind her name, or she gets to travel the world and so on and so forth. You only know what you see. You don't know the backstory. So I said it. But I want to read this before we depart, guys. I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. And again, thank you, Rashawn, for joining me, especially last minute. I'm most grateful. This has been an awesome show, and I hope that you'll come back. But this is from Christian Comforts. She says that if you order by Monday, this is Sonia Jones, if you order by Monday, December 11th, she says for shipping, and that I have a sale on the small gift pan for $12.50, regularly $14.50, and the large gift pan for $20, regularly $25. And she can text her at 281-610-1059, and that's Christian Comforts. She provided the spa basket for us tonight. Michelle Jones won that, and Quintrell Williams, who donated the smartwatch. We want to thank him. Ginger Ross won that watch. Next Friday, guys, we will be on location again at Cashmere Gardens Church of Christ. We have our sexual trauma table discussion. We have 4 awesome presenters who are part of RAIN, which is Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. And they're going to share their stories of sexual abuse and trauma. We also have Victoria Williams, who will join us on that show. She will be part of the panel discussion. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Imani Davenport, who is a young person, very young person, who experienced sexual assault and who is telling her story. She will also be part of our panel discussion. And so again, that's next Friday, 6:15 p.m. at Cashmere Gardens Church of Christ. You can find the flyer for that on my Facebook page. We hope you will join us. And we are super, super excited about that show because we have people helping people. Like you said, you don't have many black men who are organizing things like this to help one another. So that's something I would like to be a part of to help, and it's going to help me too. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's going to help me too. Help me understand our men. So again, Christian Comforts, we want to thank you for donating our spa basket tonight. Again, she's running a special. You can text her at 281-610-1059. And then Quintrell Williams for donating our smartwatch tonight. Next week, I'm just going to put a plug in. We have 2 Landry's gift cards. 2 Landry's gift cards. If you're present, if you register to come to the event, we may pull your name out of a hat and you may win the lucky gift card from Landry's. And I'm working on a resort stay. So we encourage you, if you can, to attend the session next Friday night at 6:15. And that is our sexual trauma show. And I'm legit, folks. I have my media badge. Wow. From Real Talk 100 Radio.
We're really trying to, like I said at the beginning of the show, we're really trying to become the next FM radio station in Houston, and this is only part of it. We're small timing now, but the ultimate goal is to be backstage at the Live Nation concerts. Be backstage every time they throw a large benefit or concert at Smart Financial or NRG Stadium or Toyota Center. We want our badges to stand for we can enter.
Mhm.
We can interview the
Mhm.
stars of the world. We can do these things.
Yeah.
Right now, we
Mhm.
can do some things, but that's the ultimate goal.
Mhm.
Once we become FM, so that like we said earlier in the show, y'all, we're building, we're growing here, day by day. Thankful every time this young lady walks in the building because she blesses the place every time she comes through.
Oh, thank you.
You do. You do. Like I said, she's fired though because she has me crying every week. Just playing. But yeah, another great show. If the good doctor doesn't have something else, I want to make sure we get Mr. Roshan got everything out of his heart and mind that he wanted the listening panel to hear tonight.
Well, thank you all for having me. Like we as humans, a lot of us, we're born into a great place.
Mhm.
Our mental stability, it deteriorates very rapidly, especially when you come from particular places, born into certain families, come from certain zip codes. So from one black man to the black men, we have been divided. I would like to see you and see us come together as one. Love on each other, uplift each other, fight for one another, and fight with each other. And teach our youth morals and values. From one black man to our black women, we have been divided. And I would like to see us come closer together, fight together, love on each other. And women, y'all do a good job. Y'all do. But we can always get better. You know, I like to see our black people, you know, like assist your black brothers and sisters out of the mental health issues that they're having, even if you don't have to understand it. If they are dealing with something, just be there and listen to them. You don't always have to tell them what they need to be doing, how they need to be doing it. Just be patient. And I know, you know, when you have patience and trying to give people your patience, it could be a lot on you, but just be there. Just be there for each other, and together we can. And thank you for having me on the show.
I just want to put a cherry on top of that though and say that this is not a march. This is not a march we won and done. We're talking about, you know, like a one-man march. Oh, we're gonna have a march. No. We got enough marches. We need action. We need intention. People being intentional about wrangling in and making these services available for this community, and letting people know that this is available. And we people need to do a better job of supporting one another and not making people feel broken when they talk about their mental health challenges. So
yeah, we are our mental health providers.
Yeah.
From where we come from, when we don't have the people that we should be able to talk to, are the people next to us. We shouldn't be afraid.
Absolutely.
You know, like just having somebody to listen to you on the things that is hurting you, even if it's about you. You know, like we all we got.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Well, guys, we have 3 more shows before we end for the holiday break. I am taking a break, and fingers crossed, some interesting stuff when I go to Europe, interviewing a basketball team, a professional basketball team. So you have to hang around to learn more. All right. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you. Victoria, I appreciate you, and everybody else who tuned in tonight. I'm just grateful to be here, and thank you, Malcolm, for always doing a great job and being willing to actively participate in the show. And thank you for sharing part of yourself. You've become more transparent since the first show that I did here, and I'm thankful for that. Yeah,
I had to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah,
like I said, I'm not accustomed to telling my story. I'm not accustomed to it. I haven't grown 100% into comfort yet. But it's coming. Like I said, it took me. I was ashamed for a long time. So now that I'm off paper after 30 years.
Wow! Give yourself a hand clap.
I'll give myself a hand clap. For those of you who don't know, we have a toy here in the station, and I love playing with it. Check this out.
That's all right. That's all right.
You know, talking about your story and your trauma is one of the hardest things you can do,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially when you put yourself through it.
Yeah, yeah.
especially when you're honest too.
Yeah.
I
It
put
take time.
yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It takes a lot of time. And I have to give a shout out right quick to Hull House Publishing. They're going to help me write my book.
Oh, good.
I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to, a matter of fact, I hope she's not listening. Her name is Marcita Jordan. She's the owner and founder of Hull House Publishing. Y'all find Hull House Publishing on Instagram and Facebook. She's already told me, boy, I'm finna drop you if you don't start recording. She wants me to write it on a recorder, and then she'll transcribe it or whatever on her end. She just wants me to do the work and record it.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it. I'm sorry. If she's listening, she's a loyal fan of our shows.
Does she do the print also for the books?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
She does it all.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all go and follow Hull House Publishing on Instagram and Facebook.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm a little more open, and so I'm glad you're noticing that. I get in trouble a lot because I have yet to open up a lot to a lot of people, and they're like, well, why do you tell them and you don't tell me? I'm just like,
I just work all on around it. I'm like, look, whatever.
Black man's
Yeah.
the things we keep inside,
yeah, I keep a lot.
we deal with it on our own.
Deal with it on our own. And you probably heard this too. Why can't I have the side of you that nobody else can have? Because I keep it hidden on purpose, because it's used against me. It's been used against me all my life, and it'll probably be used against me until I'm gone.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
So that's why we keep a lot hidden inside here. So you have to earn that. How do you earn that? You prove yourself over and over again, and you don't use what we give you as a weapon. Don't weaponize what I tell you. Don't do that. That'll cause me to go back in the club, go back in the shell.
Right. Or act as if my pain shouldn't hurt me that much, because I should be strong enough to deal with it.
That's right. That's right, everybody. We could sit here, me and this guy and this woman could sit here and talk all night long. Good doctor, was that your closing?
That was it. Yeah.
That was your closing. So we're gonna, as much as I hate to end it, I know he has to get out of here. I know she has quite a distance to travel home. I'm the closest, probably. I'm right here on 1960 down the street. So we're gonna get out of here, y'all. I didn't have this queued up earlier, but this is the show for next week on. This is the show for next week on the Wisdom Walk with Dr. Annette show on Real Talk 100 Radio. Y'all get ready for this show next week. Don't know why this is on screen there, but okay, there's the show for next week. We'll be live on location, everybody, from 6:15 to 8:15 p.m. at Cashmere Gardens Church of Christ at 4315 Leffingwell Street, Houston, Texas, 77026. If you would like to be in the live audience, y'all come on out. I might even stop by HEB and get you something to eat. One of those big pans of sandwiches and chips or something. I don't know, and get you some Kool-Aid. I'm not sure.
All right.
We'll talk about it. Me and Doctor will talk about it, but this is where we'll be next week, everybody. Y'all continue sharing this video out even after we go off air. If you're watching the replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments. Can't wait to meet Miss Katrina Lawrence, Miss Cassandra Berkeley, Dr. Cassandra LeClaire, and I've already met Miss Victoria Jackson. You think sexual abuse isn't real? You think it can't happen to you? Ask these survivors at our roundtable event. RAINN stands for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network is who we'll be talking with next week. Like I said, you're more than welcome to be in the live audience. This show was brought to you by Williams Counseling and Play Therapy, PLLC, and the Church of Christ. I'm sorry, that's next week. Sorry. This show was brought to you by Williams Counseling and Play Therapy, PLLC. I've put her information, the good doctor's information, up on the screen all night long, and I'll put it up again for you. Doctor, as we close the show, let them know what kind of counseling they can look for when they come into your office.
Okay. So general mental health counseling, talk therapy, I specialize in CBT, which is cognitive-based therapy, but I'm also a registered play therapist, a certified autism specialist, and I was thinking of something else, but slipped my mind. But anyway, yeah, that's what I do. And my office is at 2500 East TC Jester Boulevard, 77008, right off of TC Jester and 610. So you can call 832-273-9513 if you want to schedule a session. I take all kinds of insurances, EAP, cash, credit, debit. And we're running a special right now, 2 for 1. So if you pay for one session, you get 2 sessions for the price of one.
And here is that certificate right here on the screen, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I have her address on the bottom. The counseling center is located at 2500 East TC Jester Suite 249, Houston, Texas, 77008.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, her website, I have posted it throughout in the comments, but here it is again. Sponsor, Williams Counseling and Play Therapy. Her website is at the very bottom, and her email is right there in the middle. For more information, please contact her at the above number, the email, or go and check out Williams Counseling and Play Therapy.com from your phones, your laptops, or your mobile devices. That's all we got for tonight, everybody. Let me get back on the screen. That's all we got for tonight, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to the Wisdom Walk with Dr. Annette show live on Real Talk 100 Radio. We thank Mr. Roshan for coming through tonight and open his chest up again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We thank Pure Justice for coming by tonight. Y'all make sure you go and follow this logo on Instagram and Facebook at Pure Justice. Find out more about him. I put his website on the screen all night as well. It's www.purejustice.org.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken. Yes, sir. I put it in the comments. Y'all go and find out more information about his organization and what he does for people who've been incarcerated and more in our community. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Good night. Good night. And good night.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see y'all next week.
Just Reese's peanut butter staring at me.
Yes, sir. We have bags of that stuff.
Okay. Hey, I just want to know or ask, did we get the show put up on YouTube last week? Okay. I looked at the numbers for last week's show, just our Facebook. Have you seen them? Almost 500.
When I
I think it was something.